Hey guys, today we are looking into these joypad controllers. These are Switch controllers. They're from KDD. I picked them up on Amazon for $56.99. They are third party, so these aren't official Nintendo controllers or joypads as they're referred to. I'm going to open them up. We're going to take a look at them. See what they're like. So first off, the packaging isn't terrible for shipping, but there's literally no information on this box. Like, no stats, nothing. So there is a manual here, so let's kind of look through the manual. Let's see. Looks like kind of the basic stuff. How to charge, blah blah blah. It works pretty much the same as any regular Joy-Con, is what I'm gathering here. These are some other language on the back. So let's take a look at the Joy-Cons themselves. This is the black version. There are a couple different colors on Amazon through KDD. There is some like Animal Crossing colors, and then there's also the traditional blue and red that you can get with your original Switch. So let's pop these out, take a look at them. Not terrible quality. I did already pull these out a little while ago and charged them so that they were ready to go for the video. So we will dock them and take a look. And then we'll see how they work without them docked too. So these are the attachments that go with it. They're a lot bigger than the standard ones. So let's see, how do we get these on? This is them. They aren't reversible. So if you guys can see that, there is nothing on the back side of these. So this is the minus side. Yeah, it goes on okay. There is some weird like glue residue on here, and that's not from me. That's from the factory, I would guess. But it's not terrible. It's a little bulky, but it's not terrible. They do feel a little bit cheaper than the originals from Nintendo, but I do like these big shoulder pads. So that's kind of nice. So let me grab a... I gotta push the button. Just like the original Joy-Con, there is a button on the back. So we're gonna push that. So I'm gonna grab one of those... one of these wrist-strapped adapters for the original Joy-Cons and see if they fit on here. So here we have the official Joy-Con wrist-strapped adapter. And I'm just curious to know if it will fit on here as well. I mean, it should, theoretically, simply because these are supposed to work with the Switch, so the rails should be the same. Oh yeah, and they work just fine. It locks. Everything seems to work just the same. So that's kind of nice. It's nice that if you wanted the bigger... to have a bigger controller when you're playing those types of games that need the bigger controller, you can use it. Otherwise, we can add in, the official ones and have it the original size. So now, this is the black pair, and I have to say it is significantly darker than the official gray. So let's go ahead and grab my Switch, and we'll see, what it looks like. This is my Switch. I have the traditional gray on here, and you can see that it's significantly darker than the original gray. They're comparing it to the actual Joy-Cons, the Nintendo Joy-Cons. You can see that there is a little bit of a style difference going on here. The plus and minus buttons just indicate plus and minus. It's really hard to see that. The home button is square, and the the screen capture button is a circle, which is kind of the opposite of the original Joy-Cons, and I'm sure that that's by design. The thumb grips are concaved, which is interesting. Different opinions on this one. Like, I kind of feel like my thumbs go into the analog sticks a little better, but because they're concaved, there's a little bit of a ridge around the brim, so that might kind of push on your skin a little bit, but overall, it doesn't feel too bad. Like, it doesn't feel flimsy for being a third-party Joy-Con option. So let's go ahead and plug them into the Switch and see what they do. Alright, so I've been playing Gato Roboto. Not sure how well you can see the screen. So we're going to go into the settings, and we're going to look at the controller calibration just to make sure that these calibrate just fine. So we're going to do the left one first. So as of right now, I mean, these are brand new out of the box. Obviously, they're going to be without any drift, but it is nice to see that it doesn't have it right out of the box. So let's go back, and we're going to do the right. Same deal. Seems like it does pretty good. No complaints there. So let's look at... We'll look at how they perform undocked. Now, they feel pretty good when they go into the Switch, honestly. Like, I'm not seeing any issues with them sliding into the rails that they have there. They feel pretty good. So now we're gonna attach them. So it's trying to find them. Yep, there it goes. And so they do show up as black, which is very interesting. So if we plug in the gray, see how they show up as gray? So I don't know if this is a generic icon for maybe controllers that they can't detect the color, or if that is because I have black controllers. I'm not really sure because I only have the black pair. So, it's just interesting. More than anything else, it's just interesting. So let's back out and we'll play a game. So right now I have Gato Roboto plugged in. And there it sees those black Joy-Cons attached. Start. I have a game saved on here that's not at all in at all. That's not very far. So we'll go ahead and load that. It just kind of skipped the intro stuff, so we can see how it performs. It feels pretty good. The buttons seem responsive just fine. This is the D-pad. The D-pad is a little bit different than the D-pad on the Nintendo controllers. So you can see it's actually got arrow keys instead of just the buttons. I don't know if he can hurt me or not. So yeah, very responsive. Not having any problems with it. Let's take them off. And we'll play the game a little bit without. Yeah, same deal. Ah! Alright, so that seems pretty good. Now, the first time I did plug these in, it did ask for Joy-Con updates, which is something built into the controllers themselves that needed an update. But otherwise, I mean, they feel really good. They're a little bit lighter than the Nintendo Joy-Cons by maybe 25%, I'd say. So they are a little bit lighter, but it doesn't hinder from the experience. The vibration does work. So we'll go ahead and... yeah, the vibration works fine. You can hear it. It might be a little bit noisier than the traditional Joy-Cons. I don't have that 1-2 switch game to test some of those more fancy vibration sensors that are in the Nintendo brand, but I'm gonna say it's probably not as good as the Nintendo brand as far as the vibration sensing, but I'd be curious to try it out and see. But yeah, ultimately, for a little bit cheaper than the Nintendo brand Joy-Cons, I feel like this isn't a bad deal. $56.99 on Amazon right now. You can get the black pair, or they have the Animal Crossing colors, the like light blue and the light green, and then they also have the traditional Joy-Con colors, which is the blue and the red. Yeah, I mean, they're the same size as a Nintendo brand Joy-Con. Not terrible, not terrible. The specs on Amazon state that it has the full set of features as the original Joy-Cons, as well as the same battery life as the original Joy-Cons, and the same size as the original Joy-Cons. It does say that there is no infrared receiver on these, so you won't be able to do any of that functionality, as well as there is no amiibo support for these. So that's unfortunate, but it's not a deal breaker necessarily. If you need some Joy-Cons that are a little bit on the cheaper end, this is not a bad option because they work pretty well. I don't know how they're going to perform long term. I'll probably play with them for a while and see how they perform, and if there's any problems, I'll update you guys. For right now, from what I can see, it's not a bad deal, so check it out. It is Joypad controller for Nintendo Switch, KDD Joypad controller wireless black, and you can find that on Amazon by KDD. So I hope you guys found this helpful, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time.